as I reflected about this theme of the teach-in, witnessing transformation, and in this month of November, our tradition of remembering the communion of saints, I thought about the many persons, places, experiences, including people and experiences in this teach-in, which has grown and changed over many years, who were my teachers or agents of transformation. One significant marker for my personal transformation was my first year with the Jesuit Volunteer Corps. I worked as a JV on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation in southeast Montana. I was introduced to tremendous poverty and violence that I didn't know existed in this country as a 24-year-old. Our JV community that year also met Capuchin priests who were forced to leave Nicaragua in 1978 for their work with the poor. They were being targeted by the Somoza army of that time. Maybe you know the experience of being in a new or different place that challenges your sense of self and what you thought you knew about the world. That was JVC for me. I was often overwhelmed and sometimes angry about what I experienced. I wanted things to be different on the reservation for the children and the families that I worked with, and I wanted it now. So I knew at the end of my tumultuous and transformative year that I needed to stay connected to persons that would help me understand new realities and help me work for change that needed to happen. Some of the change needed to happen in me and in my attitudes. And I wanted to work for change in the conditions of the poor in our country. So I worked with JVC for the next several years, and I learned more about issues connected to the reality of the poor and marginalized persons in this country while the war on the poor in Central America was raging. I was able later to travel to Nicaragua and El Salvador several times to witness the work for change in the region, to inform our solidarity efforts in the U.S. During those years, I learned that change doesn't come quickly. Work for justice or transformation does not happen overnight or in isolation. We all need persons to help us be who we are and do what we can, whatever that is. Transformation is a labor of love. It is a process that takes time and space and patience. And patience is not one of my strengths. Some of you know that well. I believe that we are wired to be in communion with others, to be with friends and family and faith communities where we can share what scares us, encourage us when we are overwhelmed, move us from our broken hearts to be the persons filled with hope and love for the work that needs our gifts, our skills, and our passions. Returning to El Salvador this summer with ISN, many folks who are here tonight, was yet another reminder for me of the continued need for community and desire to stay connected to the legacy of the martyrs. Their lives were purposeful and filled with hard work for change. They invite us to find ways that we can be joined to their efforts to renew the face of the earth in El Salvador and everywhere our hearts lead us in the pursuit of freedom and love. Help me, if you will, sing a song that speaks to this idea of transformation, changing and being changed in the process, and that sometimes it takes a long time. Step by step, the longest march can be won, Many stones can form an arch, singly none, and by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, step by step the longest march can be won, Many stones can form an arch, singly none, and by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none. Ignatian family members, bring your soil. Step by step the longest march can be won. Many stones can form an arch, singly none, and by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, singly none.